Hey guys, this video is going to be pretty simple. I'm just going to be talking about some consistencies that I've collected and that you may want to implement when you're doing databases or databasing. And basically what I mean by that is you want to try and keep things the same each time. So, I guess it's not that super important for everything, but when someone else works with your database, or if you work with your database, it'll help because it'll help you understand what's going on and how things are connected. And some examples of this are like how you name things and how you describe the tables and such that you're naming. So the first one is when you name your database, always give it something descriptive. So my database in my last video was gym. So I guess that wasn't very descriptive because what's that to do with anything? So I guess I could have said I don't know. That worked for my application because I really wasn't going into that much depth. All it was about a gym. So I named it gym. That's a descriptive name for my database. But for your database or somebody's database, a short name like that may be too broad and confuse people. People get confused pretty easily, so yeah. And then the next thing I would say is for your tables to also be descriptive. By this, I mean name what you're going to have within the tables. So, as mine was, I think it was members. So basically the members of the gym. So I could have named it like gym members or info. Oh yes, it was info. So it stored info about the members. So a good name for that table would have been members info rather than info, because what kind of info? That's ridiculous. Nobody's going to know. And you want your database to be very understandable because that's the goal, to be a good databaser. And to be a good databaser, you have good database design. So follow that. Next thing, the tables. Let me draw this out. So here we have two tables, all right, and then we have the columns, let's say. So that's more like rows. So I have the columns here. 1 column, 2 column, 3 column, 4 column, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have two tables with columns. So this one's like information and this is something else. When you name a column, you want the person who reads it to know what table it belongs to. So let's say we have gym. So this is the info for the people, info. And then you can post reviews about your gym, where you work out, and so this is reviews. Now, that's a descriptive name for the tables. The next thing you do is find a primary key, and primary keys, I always have a consistency of putting an underscore up at the end, underscore, and then ID. So this would be member ID or user ID, whatever it is. This would be review underscore ID. That way they know it's a primary key. And if you don't remember, a primary key just keeps everything unique within a table. And I know I've told you that 100,000 times if you've watched all these, but that's just because I want you to remember it. Now, a foreign key refers back to a primary key, and I'll also have those ID, just like that. Alright, let me just clear things up a little bit. Here's a table. These are both tables, and these are the table names. So I have a table, gym member info. So I would store all the info, like the name of the member and the address, so on. Gym reviews is stuff people say about the gym. Now, when you have a column within this table, such as the ID or primary key, you want to know which column it goes to. This will make things a lot easier and clearer when you're doing advanced queries and such. So take this word, so the column would be member ID, rather than just ID or primary key or anything ridiculous. So basically, if you see this and you have two options, either this table or this table, and it's a primary key, you can probably guess it's this table. If not, that's okay. So gym reviews, you may want it review ID, because now you know that review goes to this table. And you'll see more of this when I'm building databases, that I'll try and make descriptive columns so things don't conflict and you always know which table they go to for easier reading. The next thing about consistency I'll be going over is some capitalization and such. So basically anything you put into the database that's a column name, database name, or anything like that, you always should uncapitalize it. So no capitals, no camel casing, which is like first uncapitalized. Just basically the whole word should be uncapitalized. So my database, Jim, it's not Jim, it's Jim. It's not that big of a deal, but when you're making the database, it's just the queries that you type in, it's best to make the words that you're putting in to be lowercase because this makes things clearer to read. And anything that's MySQL related, such as insert, this will be capitalized because that's the command and you didn't make it up. You can't change this or it won't work. Then the other thing is quotation marks. When I quote something, such as, hey, I will usually use single quotes. Ugh, that was pretty bad. Rather than double quotes. And I guess that really doesn't matter. And the only reason I'd use double quotes is if I need to store a single quote, or I could just escape it. But yeah, you get the point. And the last thing is, when we go on, we'll get more advanced queries. If you remember, some of my queries had a where statement, so basically that will limit what you're getting back, where user's account balance is over $50. That's an example of where clause. There's some more things that you can put in the query to make it more specific, and when you do that, you'll put each one on a new line. That doesn't really matter. It just makes things consistent. That's what I'm trying to go for here. This is all optional. You can do whatever you want. And if you want to change something, it's fine. It's not set in stone. But this is what most people do, and it's best to keep things consistent. Alright, so that's all I'm describing in this video. And I know, hopefully, that helped clear some things up. If it didn't, well, man, I just wasted a lot of my talking power for nothing. I wouldn't want to do that. So, subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you later.